tonight we have a very special guest with us. If you have been watching the latest season of The Biggest Transformation, if you've watched any of The Biggest Transformation, then you will know we always have rock star men and women who are brave enough, who have enough courage to go through their weight loss transformation in front of whoever wants to watch. And this young lady had applied for season 9 with her mom. And what she has done, she has been an inspiration. She led the entire season, the entire time. And she actually wound up not only leading, but winning, being the winner of season 9 of The Biggest Transformation. And tonight, you're going to get to hear about her experience. You're going to get to hear about how she lost. She only started at 150 pounds, but she lost just shy of 30 pounds in 15 weeks. And she is going to give you some of her strategies, some of her secrets, some of what was different and what she changed to go from, like, I think it took her, she'll tell us how long it took her to lose the previous 30 pounds and then how fast she lost these last 30, some of the things that changed for her. So without further ado, please help me welcome to the channel, Ms. Hannah.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. Don't you love technology? Like a push of a button and you're here.
I'm here. I feel like I'm on TV.
Now you are, Hannah's joining us from Texas. So, for some of you are watching, it's probably snowy, but where Hannah and I are, we think it's cold, but to the rest of the world, it's not. So Hannah, you, first off, you look amazing. Like, look at your jawbone and your cheekbones and all the bones and like just chiseled. You look chiseled. Your face looks like sculpted and amazing. And so, you have lost 29.8 pounds in the past 15 weeks.
It's incredible. Like you were just mentioning, I struggled the first 30 pounds when I was doing it on my own. It was a struggle and it took me a really long time. And the fact that I've been able to lose this much weight and in such a healthy way and in a way that I can maintain for life in just the past few weeks has been absolutely amazing.
How long did it take you? I remember you said, but I can't remember the timeline. How long did it take you to lose those first 30 pounds when you were doing it on your own? Which, by the way, is incredible. The fact that you were able to lose 30 pounds like by yourself. It's amazing.
Thank you. So it took me about 5 to 6 months to lose the first 30 pounds. And then from there, I just hit a wall. I stopped being consistent. And I had a lot of excuses, right? I was like, maybe I'm not having enough protein, or maybe I should cut my calories more. And so then I just hit this wall where I struggled for the next 6 months. And then I saw that applications were open. And the funny part is when I first applied, I still, even though I was struggling, I still had this sense of confidence, right? I was like, I can do this. I can do this. But I really applied because I knew if I didn't apply, my mom wouldn't apply. And so it was really kind of like a way to get her to apply. And then when we both got accepted, I was a little bit nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. This is real now. But at the same time, I was so excited because it hit home for me that, okay, this is what I need to actually get there, because I've set goals. This was my 3rd time to lose the weight, and it's going to be my last time because I've set goals before and I've not gone all the way. I've settled for good enough. And with this program, I've realized how to not settle and how to get to the goal that I originally set.
Which is amazing. And so often when we have any kind of overweight issue, we do try to do it by ourselves and we lose some. And then I think you pretty much outlined exactly what we do. We lose some, then we plateau, we get unfocused. And then the next phase is typically we start gaining it back. So,
right.
But you had the wisdom to obviously be like, you know what, I'm going to get, and I'm so proud that you went the whole way. So often we only go part of the way. And when you applied for season 9, you were only weighing 150 pounds, which a lot of people would consider that's smaller than the average woman your age. What was it that made you go, no, I know that there's more fluff to come off?
It really came down to And let me say, when I was at that weight, that was the smallest I had ever been in my life. I had no memory of ever being
Mhm.
150. And so the last time I lost the weight, I had gotten down to 155. And I stopped there because, like we talk about, I started getting the compliments. I was feeling really good, and I settled for good enough. And so it all came down to I looked in the mirror and I had changed my mindset in that I loved my body because I loved how I was taking care of it. But I just looked in the mirror and I was like, I am not 100% comfortable and confident with what I see. And I have worked too long and too hard to only come this far. I know there's more that I can do if I just know how to get there. And so that's how I knew I was like, I need to go and I need to actually hit this goal and have this actually achieve the body that I have in my mind for the first time in my life. And at the same time, learn the strategies to stay there and to never go back. Because that was really one of my biggest fears as well was what if I put in all this time and effort, I get to this goal weight, but if I don't know how to maintain it, am I just going to be doing this again in a few years? And that was the thought that I didn't want to even think about or worry about anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it is that's one of our biggest things inside of the program is because, as someone who used to be overweight, that's all I did. You lose some and then you gain it. Then you lose some and you gain it. And before you know, you have all these sizes of clothing and you're just dieting all the time. And it was after when I was starting to lose the weight again when we had our second daughter, because I can remember seeing my mom diet my whole life. Like literally every time I turned around, my mom was on a different diet. And I thought, I don't want that to be me. I don't want my kids' memory of us growing up to be like my mom was always dieting. And so you applied with your mom, which was amazing. I remember when I saw the applications and I was like, okay, like a mother daughter. And I always think it's great when mother daughter or husband wives do it together. So, how has that been doing the program with your mom, besides the fact that she looks so incredible?
She does. She is absolutely killing it. And I know we've talked about it on the episodes, but our family photo shoot is coming up in a couple of weeks. And it was so funny because she's been really determined to wear something out of her closet, but she is the smallest she has been since before I was born. And I'm like, you are not wearing something out of your closet for these family photos. So she's really feeling herself right now. But it's been amazing to do this journey with her because exactly to your point, it's always been something that we've talked about doing. And I would be like, okay, I'm going to do this starting in the new year or on Monday. I'm going to start this. You want to do it with me? Or we would go for walks together. But we always tried, but we never had the right plan and the consistency and the accountability, even to each other, to see it through. And so with this, what's been really funny is even though I kind of had to drag her to the application process, and then when she, found out she was accepted and she was like, okay, so like, am I really doing this? I'm like, oh, we're doing this. Like, order your stuff. Let's get this going. But what's been amazing is how there were a lot of times where she took the lead. Even though I took the lead in getting her there, once we started the journey, she took the lead in a lot of things. And so, like, she was the first one to do 80-day obsession. I was like, oh, I'm looking at this workout program. I might do it. And then a week later, she's like, yeah, I did the first week. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm nervous to start it. I'm over here like, I'll do a little obsessed. I'll figure out if this is really right for me. And she's like, yeah, I already did week 1. And then she was so kind. She restarted the program so that we could do it together and always be on the same day. And that's just added another layer to it for us because when we do travel together, because I'm an only child, so anything we do, my parents are usually involved. So when we do travel together or we go to the lake together, we do it together. And so like some of my favorite memories from the past few months has been my parents have a fifth wheel that's parked on a waterfront spot on the lake, and there's like this little wood porch that goes around the RV spot. And my husband took an extra computer monitor and we connected our phone to it. And here's mom and I out there on this little wooden deck doing our 80-day obsession. I want to say it was AAA workout. And it was a little bit chilly because it was Thanksgiving. And like people will drive by on their golf carts and they would kind of look and be like, or what are they doing? And here we were, Thanksgiving Day, out there doing our AAA workout. It was just so much fun to be able to do that together with her.
What has been, because well, your mom, let me just say, by the way, she's lost, as of this morning, over 32 pounds, which is incredible. And, she's been showing us photos of like clothing that your father had bought for her, that jumpsuit, and then shirts. She talked about going from an extra large to a medium t-shirt. And anyway, so what has been the biggest difference for you? Because obviously this isn't your first rodeo. You've tried to lose weight before, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what has been the biggest difference for you doing it through the program versus all the other times before?
It was all the pieces coming together, right? So before I always saw food as something that I had to cut out and eliminate, right? I didn't see it as a way that, yes, you can still have carbs, you can still have this. It's the portion, right? And then it was also the combination of exercise that also builds muscle. And then it's all the things that you teach us in the program. It's the mindset, it's the water. I'd never tackled it in that complete way before. Before it was, okay, let's cut calories, let's have salads only, and let's just do cardio workout. I never even considered water before. And so it was putting everything together. But then it was also, the biggest difference was the mindset, because it's like you teach, it's how we think. With the opinion of ourselves, we will never rise above it. And I had always had the opinion of myself of being overweight, of being the chubby one, and never, and like even now, like my brain is still trying to process that I am a smaller weight now. And I think I had shared this with the cast a few weeks ago. I I had to order some new clothes for work. Like I was looking really shabby at work. And I went to this online store that I've been hearing all these things about that I wanted to try. And I was still too nervous to order an extra small. So I got a few extra smalls and a few smalls because my brain still hasn't processed that no, you can wear this size. You are this size. So it really was just putting all the pieces together. And what I love about your program is you put them together in a way that's very easily achievable, right? Like we have the habit tracker. If you just follow directions, you will be successful. And you just made it so simple and easy to follow.
So let's go back to your buying clothes for a minute. So what, at your biggest size, what was that?
Everything extra large, and then probably like 16. I would kind of waffle back and forth between 15 and or 14 and 16 in pants.
Okay. And so now putting on a pair of pants that fit you, what size is that?
Size 2. Which I was like, I never in a million years would I have thought I could wear a size 2. Because I've heard you talk about this before. I would always tell myself, oh, you're too big boned for a size 2. It's like, no, you're just eating too much crap for a size 2.
Well, and anybody who meets you now, you're so little and your hips are so small. And like, isn't it funny though, how we convince ourselves that we're not? Like literally, because you had no recollection of being at size 1 or 150. So obviously you can't have a recollection of being at 120 pounds.
Of course. Yeah.
So what has been the strangest part for your brain to wrap around being like, is like, what's the part that's like, oh my gosh, is it when you see your reflection? Is it when you're folding your clothes? Is it when you're packing and there's so little? Is it like what, or you see yourself in photos? What is the part where you actually go, wow, look at me, like, wow.
So I've had two moments like that. The first moment was when I ordered those new work pants and I had gotten the size 2, and I pulled them out and the waist on it to me looked tiny. And I'm just like, there is no way these are going to fit. Like, I was like, I should have ordered up. Like, why did I get size 2? And then you know how when you go to put on a pair of pants that you think are going to be too tight, and so you get ready to do the whole like jiggle into it. I was starting to do that, and then they just came on and they buttoned, and I was like, "Oh wait, these actually fit." Like this, that totally freaked my mind out. And then I forget what week we were on in the program, but we took a family vacation, and I have also never in my life worn a bikini, never felt comfortable in my body enough to wear a two-piece bathing suit. And even though I wasn't at my goal, I was like, I think I'm ready for this. And so we took our kids to an indoor water park, and I wore a bikini, and we had rented a cabana. And so I remember the first time where I took off the cover up and I actually walked out of the cabana and we went to go do a slide. I had this moment of feeling like, am I naked? Should I put on clothes? Like, what is going on here? And then I felt so comfortable. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely like I was able to enjoy the moment with my kids instead of thinking about, oh gosh, this bathing suit is sticking to me. Everyone can see everything. I was just able to focus on them and not how I looked. And I still was comfortable. I looked really cute in my bikini.
Isn't it a trip though when you first put one on? Because I'm assuming it was one pieces or tankinis. It was, and then you
Mhm.
would, keep the cover up on as long as possible. And so as you're walking around, and then have you had the realization yet that wow, like uh there's a point where you start to realize that because you go from being like blending in more or being one of the bigger people at the water park to
Mhm.
realizing like I'm one of the fittest people at the water park. I'm one of the smaller people my age. Like is was that have you started noticing that yet?
Oh, for sure. Because, and to your point, I had gone from wearing the one pieces to then I started getting just the long sleeve shirts and shorts, like the quick drying ones. Like I had gone to where I wasn't even wearing bathing suits because I was so uncomfortable with my body. And then when we were there, I had already started to build some tone. So, like, I had muscles in my arms and like my back and my shoulders. And I was just like, wow, like, I look like I work out. And it's probably because I do work out. And that was just fun. But yeah, it was definitely, I was much more aware. And to be honest, it broke my heart of the moms who were just sitting there watching their kids
Yeah.
play, of the moms who were there wearing jeans and t-shirts because they weren't going to get in and play with their kids. And that is what really just simultaneously broke my heart and also made me so grateful that I was on the slides with my kids. I was in the lazy river with my kids. We were having a blast and I was there with them and not on the sidelines.
No, it's so true. It and I love the way you describe that because it really is a combination of being so grateful that you didn't stay there because you could identify because it used to be you, right? It used to be me. Like I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, I just want to walk around with a billboard and be like, I can help you when we're at the pool because we see it all the time. I don't think any mom's desire is to not be in the photos or to
Right.
not be riding the slides or to not be having fun and making the memories versus my mom just took me and watched, and it's so much funner being in the game. And when you are living in your right size body and you're no longer dealing with self the self condemnation, you're
Mhm.
no longer self-conscious, you can really start to do that. What has been everybody else's reaction? Like your husband, your coworkers, your kids. Your kids are so precious. All the different moments of them working out and pretending like they're checking in. So what has been your family and your what has been your the reaction of the people that like knew the old Hannah?
Yeah, people, especially, I work from home. And so now that we are starting to get back to doing more things in person, people who haven't seen me in a long time, I get a lot of double takes because they don't recognize me at first. It was really funny. A couple of months ago, I had scheduled to meet with a security officer at my employer, and he and I had never met in person, but he clearly had gone into like our system and looked me up. And the badge photo that I have in there is 3 years old and 70, 80 pounds heavier than I am now. And when he came out to greet me, there was this look of like, where's the woman I'm here to meet? And because he did not think it was me. And then after the meeting, he very chalantly said, if you wanted to take a new badge photo, we could do that for you because you don't look like your photo. And I was like, yeah. I was like, for sure, we'll do that someday soon. So that was just a really funny moment that I'm treasuring because I was like, I don't even look like myself. But my husband has just been so supportive. He was very excited about the bikini. He's wanted me to wear a bikini for our entire relationship, and I have never been willing to. So he was very excited that I was ready for that. And then I think just my kids getting involved and being a part of it, and the fact that my 3-year-old will never know the me before, right? He will never remember me as that. My goal is for him to look back at pictures of me and be like, who's that? Because mom, that's not you. And just involving them in it. I have a lot of conversations now with my 8-year-old about healthy food and healthy choices. So, like last night, for example, we were getting his school lunch ready and we had some mac and cheese and we had some green beans, and that's all he wanted. And I was like, well, we've talked about having some protein is really good for you. So, what if I add a little bit of protein here? And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right. That is healthy. I will take some protein. So it's teaching them to be healthy now so that they never even have to experience and struggle with this like I have.
Well, and it's, in a world where overweight, obesity is an epidemic and it's trickling down to our kids, it really comes down to just teaching them healthy habits. It's not about being skinny or fluffy. It's about just having healthy habits, because when you're healthy, you just and not only healthy physically but healthy emotionally, healthy mentally, having a good relationship with food, knowing what I mean, Hannah, I don't know if you knew what protein, carb, fat, like I didn't know what macronutrients were. The first time I heard someone talking about macros, I had to Google it because what are macros? Like, it's food. I knew calories from all my dieting, but I didn't know macros, right? I knew points, but not anyway. But so teaching them how to, I think it's so amazing that you're teaching your kids how just to be healthy, because it gives them the most amount of energy. It strengthens their immune system. It makes them, and when you're healthy, you have more confidence. You get bullied less. You just all the things that go along with it. So I think it's so incredible that you're breaking that down and giving your kids that gift. My last thing I want to end with, because it's really easy for people to watch this and they've seen the before and after. It's so easy for someone to say, well, that's Hannah. She's special. She's more determined than I am. She doesn't have the struggles I do. Like Hannah can do it, but I don't know if I can do it. What would you say to somebody, a mom who's tried all the weight loss things, who's lost some weight before and gained it back, and she's really private about it? She doesn't know if she needs or wants help because she can probably do it on her own if she just focuses. What would you say to that person who's on the sideline, who maybe thinks they're big boned and they could never ever be in an extra small or a size 2? What would you say to that mom?
Well, I think you perfectly described me a year and a half ago, right? I would probably a year and a half ago never have considered doing this journey in a public way, but what I would say is I am no more special than you. mom who is watching this and who is feeling all the feelings that Carmen just described, because I've been there, I've felt that way. And what I can say about this program is it is the right program with the right coach, and this is the right time for you. And I wish I had not let myself struggle for as long as I did. Because if I had done this program at the very beginning of my journey, I would have hit my goal within months instead of taking a year and a half to do it. And it's possible. It's easy. I have a full-time job. I also do other things part-time, and I have 2 kids, and I have a husband, and I have parents that I help or with what they do. I'm busy, I get it. But if I can do it, it's not that hard to do, because Carmen gives you all the pieces and all the information, and it just comes down to making time for you. And that was the thing I think I really struggled with as a mom, was I felt like I had to constantly be focused on my kids, but I realized that I can't take care of them and I can't do the best for them if I'm not doing the best for me. And so by taking care of myself, I'm able to give my family the best of me instead of the rest of me. So stop using your current situation or your past failures as an excuse, because that's all I did. I stopped using everything as an excuse and I just did the darn thing.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you finally took action. You know what's amazing, and I know you've probably seen this, because people have seen you lose weight at this point, and people have asked about it. And some people have even applied for the same program that you went through. But the funny part is, so often we get stuck in the thinking about, and we never pull the trigger of I'm doing it. And the change will never happen until you go all in and you say, okay, let's go, just like you and your mom did. And so, Hannah, thank you so much for being on today. I feel like I didn't even get through half the questions I wanted to ask you, but you can find Hannah over on Facebook. She's somebody great to connect with. She's just an inspirational human being. This is just one of the areas of life that she is crushing. She started this brand new business, had a wait list this past year, like so many great things that she's doing. She's just leveling up in so many different areas. And Hannah, it's such an honor to be able to work with you and to watch your progress and to be able to see your just your story unfold. And I have no doubt that the best is yet to come. And what an honor that your kids are getting to watch their mom, this Wonder Woman in real life, living in their home and just doing all the things. So for those of you watching, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, make sure to smash the like button. I mean, come on, how could you not like this woman's story? And make sure to share this video. If you know anybody who's struggled with their weight loss, someone who's been on the weight loss roller coaster of losing, gaining, we all need inspiration. And you never know what somebody needs to hear to finally make the decision to go all in, and it just might be Hannah's story. So thank you so much for watching. We will be back same time, same place next week.